Maybe y'all can hear me a little bit better now.
Yeah, now.
I said I want to thank Brother Dave and Jeff for what they've done this morning in bringing and presenting to us the information they have for leadership in the congregation. But I think some of the stuff that we've gone over this morning, it'd be good for the whole congregation to hear. And this afternoon, what I want to do, you see up on the screen here, 1 Corinthians 14, verse 15. I want to read it from the New American Standard Version. What is the outcome? I will pray with the spirit, and I will pray with the mind also. Notice it says that I'll pray with the mind also. I will sing with the spirit, and I will sing with the mind also. So you got to get your mind into the same thing, what's going on. In other words, get your heart in it, know what's going on, and be people we need to be when we're in our song service, and of course all of our worship service. Probably going to go over some things Jeff has already gone over, but you'll have this, and I'll give you other things to hand out, and have a handout you can take home with you and look at it a little bit more. Number one on this suggestion for song leaders, select songs at home for each time of worship. In other words, he's already gone over this, but he knew how ahead of time, but he did not say this. Have a theme in your songs worship. In other words, if you go to the last part of it, confer with the speaker and let songs be related to his sermon topic. I've done that quite a bit when I could find out what someone was speaking on. Go to that person, find out what the topic of your service. Do you have a particular song you want to sing with that lesson? And then try to lead it in that way. If not, then go to the point of picking out songs ahead of time to what you want to have a subject on or a theme on. It could be on refuge. It could be on the rock of Christ, whatever you want to do. But you could have this in this way. Number two, use different times and different signatures to make the song worship more stimulating. For instance, let your first song be in simple time as 2-2, 2-4, 3-4, 4-4. Then in the second song, it'll be compound time such as 6-4, 6-8, 9-8, 9-8, 9-4, 9-8, and 12-8. Also use different keys if possible. For example, if your first song is the key of F, let your second song be in the key, either the key of C or the key of B flat. Use a song selection guide for song leaders in the Timex. Now that's in the book this particular person was teaching from. I do not have that, but I could use the things in the back of the book. If you do have trouble picking out something this way, look to your suggestions in the back of your song book to help you get some this way. I mentioned number three, dress for every service in a way that shows reverence for God and respect for your brethren in Christ. And we've already gone over that. I made comment to what Brother Rex Turner Sr. said to me. I was in a sports shirt, and he said, Brother Jesse, next time you come in a dress shirt and a tie so you can lead singing. Now, I've thought about that ever since then. I try to prepare myself to be where I can lead singing if someone calls on me to lead singing this way. Post the song numbers. We already mentioned this up here on the board like this. Everyone needs to be ready to worship with the spirit and understanding. This is something I want to especially go over and make mention to you. Announce your numbers loudly and distinctly. Announce them in two ways. The first time, number 321. The second time, 321. A lot of people will not hear all the 321 if you say that twice. If you say number 321, then put the digits 321, they'll come here picking it up. And be loud enough they can hear you. If you use a pitch pipe or tuning instrument, most of the time people do. I do not use one that often. I have been afforded to be able to pitch a song pretty well because I've sung so many of them that I can pretty well sing by starting off where I want to start off. So I don't use a pitch pipe all the time. But if you don't, you need to use a pitch pipe to get your pitch. Please do this. Now, number 7, sound the keynote do loud enough with your voice so that all parts can get their pitch and be ready to sing at the beginning of the song. Whatever your pitch is, you might want to take a song book as well. Something you should be looking at this time. Take your song book just a minute. Just leave it open when you get it there. I want to point out something to you. 562.
You're supposed to say 562 and then 562.
Right. 562. 562. Say it loud enough that you can be heard. Now, someone find it says here, sound the keynote do loud enough with your voice so that all the parts can get their pitch and so forth. What would you find do on number 562? C, okay. C. All right, if you blew a C on the pitch pipe, what would you do then? You're not going to start on that, are you? What are you going to start on? That's C. How are you going to find what you're going to start on? Do, mi, so, do. Do, so, mi, do. Do, so, mi, do. All right, if you find do here and you blow C. Oh, me, my God and I go in the field together. That should be where you can start with and go just like that. Just hold on to that right there. I'm going to refer back to it in just a minute. 562. Number 8. Begin each song worship period with a song of praise that everyone knows. Sing with spirit and enthusiasm. Someone said many years ago to me, and when I took song leading in college a few years ago, and it has been said to me since then, find a song of praise to start your worship service with. Find a song of praise for what you're doing. You're trying to get the audience in tune and ready to sing praises to God. So think of a song that would be a song of praise. And then one that everybody knows. If you do that, and then sing with the spirit and enthusiasm, people are going to sing with you. Normally I have a strong enough voice. I don't have as strong as I used to, but as long as it's strong enough that I can pretty well pronounce my songs and sing loud enough that people can follow me. But some people don't have that volume. So you need to, as Dave said this morning, or Jeff said this morning, move up closer to the microphone or move away from the microphone, whatever you need to do, so you can be heard better. Give the preparatory beat so the congregation can start singing with you on the first word of the song. How many times are we ready to sing and the congregation not ready to sing with us? Either if you can't beat time, to start with a time beat that you need to beat with, say, let's sing, so they'll know you're ready to sing. That way they'll be ready to go with you this time. You're going to beat time. I don't know how you would want to beat time. I've seen Jeff teach his boys this way. It's open hand. You don't usually see I've seen Toby, I think. And sometime or the other, when he's finished up a song, he does this to say it's through. Now, I want to commend Toby in one way, because when he gets up there, he tells you what his number is, good and loud, and that's good. You can hear him. You know what he said. So if you're going to beat time, open your hand up. There's going to be something you're going to learn a little later on. When you start a song, it's going to be on a downbeat or an upbeat, one way or the other. It's going to be a downbeat or an upbeat. That's where you're going to begin. We'll talk a little bit more about that as we go through. Strongly set the tempo and the pitch in the very first phrase of the song. The congregation needs to hear the pitch and feel the rhythm of the song at the beginning. Jeff's already mentioned this. Keep the tempo. Don't let the congregation drag your song. Be enthusiastic. Now, I've seen some people who led song service before sing so fast and so loud and it's hard to sing with them. I don't like to sing with someone like that. I know 2 or 3 leaders that leads like that. It's hard to sing with them. They sing so loud You hear them, but that's about the only thing you can hear. And they're singing so fast, you don't get the meaning of the song that you're singing, the words you're saying. So pitch up somewhere a happy medium in that, not so slow and not run away with song. Keep the tempo. You're the one leading, and keep the congregation with you. Don't let them drag you on the song. Be enthusiastic. Do not do a lot of talking. You're the song worship leader and not the preacher. We're up there to lead the song service. We need to lead the song service. We're not going to be preaching. We're going to leave that to the preacher to do. Then start the invitation song immediately when the sermon has ended. I don't know. That's one of the things I have thought about over the number of years. When we get through with the sermon and the invitation of the Lord extended, we need to be ready to sing that song of encouragement. A lot of times we see people halfway back in the congregation, they have to walk all the way to the front before they start the song. Need to be ready to lead that song when that sermon is ended and the invitation is extended. All right, somebody help me pass out another handout now, if you will, please. Soto?
Well, before that you said it was a C to start.
Yes, I'll show you in just a minute. Yeah. Now, you've been handed out a flyer and a thing, a glossary of musical expression. Jeff showed you that the treble clef this morning. It has the soprano and alto parts. The bass clef used is the staff of the tenor and the bass parts. He did not say anything about a natural sign in there. Maybe he did. I don't remember it now. But when there's a natural sign up somewhere or another, it's going to lower or wipe out what it is. If it's a flat or sharp, it's going to mark that out. It's going to knock that out of the way if there's one that's put up pretty close to it. I hope to show you in just a few minutes one of those and where to be used in this way. You see the flat sign? It used to lower a natural tone a half step. A sharp sign is used to raise a natural tone a half step. A double sharp looks like an X, used to raise a natural tone a half step, or raise a sharp tone a half step. A double flat, it lowers the flatted tone a half step. The next one you see a lot of time, but you don't pay it any attention. Go back to your songbook just a minute, okay? You see in 562, 2 lines down and toward the end of the 4th line down, the 5th line down. You see over those notes, one of them is the accent mark there is used to accent tones. One is to descend the tone, to bring them down. As Brother Dave was saying this morning as you're reading, how to put expression into your songs, how to put expression into your readings. You do the same thing when you're singing. A fermata, or a hold sign. You know what one of those is? That's the bird's eye that you see over a note. And that's a lot of times left up to the discretion of the leader as to where he wants to hold that note or whether he wants to sing through it. So that means we have to pay attention to our song leader. May want to sing through a note one time and not hold that note. Jeff, what is Blue Skies, 382? I think it's 382. while you're at 382 right there, look at 381. I can point it out to you on 381. You see there's a bird's eye down under the alto notes there, sweet peace, the third line down. And when you get down to the last line of the song, you see there's two places that the bird's eye's over. Through his blessed word, you can hold that or you can sing through it. Or you have to pay attention to the director. He strengthens my soul, you can hold that, soul, or you can sing through it, whichever you want to do. You need to pay attention to what the leader's doing. He's the one leading the song service. If he doesn't want to hold it, you don't hold it. If he wants to hold it, you need to hold it with him. Sing along with him. The DS, repeat sign. You see that looks like a what? S with a slash mark through it. Turn back to 562 now. 562. Look up over the very start of the song. My God, the very thing. You got that symbol there. What are you going to do with that? You're going to repeat that sign, and you're going to repeat music from the sign to wherever you go into the thing of a fine to the chorus. All right. You look on that particular song, you don't have a fine or a chorus, so that's what it is. You sing that first line through, all the way through, and you go back and sing the other two lines. Then you go back to the fourth line, you go back and sing that first line again. That's where you end up singing that song. Now the next thing you're trying to find under that, that's the end. A DS is Del Zigo. Repeat from the sign to the end of the chorus or to the fine. DC, the capito. Go back to the beginning and continue to fine. And you find those in a number of places in your book where you find either a DC or a DS. It says go back and start from that and sing through it. And you can find a number of places in that way. I have to look just a minute to see if I can find one to show you real quick. Someone might have one in DC or DS.
373 is a good DS.
All right, 373. See what we're talking about in 373? It gives you a DS or DC1. I'm not to it yet, so I don't know what we got. We got a DS. You can see it says at the end of the third line down there. Go back to this, up there where it starts up with the signature above it and the DS down there below it. Heaven far beyond the sorrow, heaven will surely be worth it all. After this life, with all its strife, heaven will surely be worth it all. That shows you how to go back and repeat that and come through with this. Then the F is the fermata, loud. FF is a fermatizo, very loud. The P is piano soft, or PP is a pimessa mo, very soft. RIT stands for retardo, slow the tempo down. You'll find that in a lot of your songs you sing, where you got that RIT there. That means slow the tempo down at the very part. 551. He gave his lifeblood for even me. You're going to sing that just a little slower when you get to that to make it put the emphasis on that. He gave his lifeblood for even me. They was saying this morning, the pronunciation of our words and things and so forth, it goes on as well in our song service as we sing this way, and it makes it better this way. All right, boys, I got another handout for you now, okay? Can you come get it for me? The handout to you now is one you've already seen just a little bit on Jeff had this morning for the musical staff. The lines and the spaces, the treble lines, the treble clef, the treble staff, has lines and spaces on it. As he said to you this morning, the line says, every good boy does fine. E, G, B, D, F. The spaces says F-A-C-E, face. That's your treble line or your staff, treble staff. Your bass staff or the bass staff has good boys do fine always. G, B, D, F, A. The spaces, all cows eat grass. That's the way you can put the lines and spaces in there. Now, I want all of you to go with me just a minute. Let's see if we can do this. I'm going to lower it a little bit until we can go in. Do, do. Let's sing the do, re, mi, fa, sol like that. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. That's the ascending and the descending of the major scale, the syllables, the relative pitch. Now, song leaders, if you pitch one, got that says do, mi, so, do. That's ascending the scale. Do, mi, so, do. Do, so, mi, do. That's what you're going to be doing in that category right there, okay? All right, boys. Somebody else hand me out another one, okay? I'm not going to show you much on this one right here, but you need to understand it. I've marked through some of the things on it, but I want to go back to the page on the left where it says where the notes start. Characters called notes are used to point out the particular degrees that are to be sung or played in a musical composition. There are in general used two systems, notations of reading note of music. The round note notation or the shape note notation. Now, if you turn on and look on the next page over there, right next to this, you see that outline there. You see a major, diatonic, scale with round notes and one with shape notes. You will not find the round notes in our hymn books. You'll find the shape notes there. Round notes are mostly in piano or some songbooks where they'll have this in it. I don't know if you've ever heard the fa, sol, la singers or not, but it's interesting to listen to them. They sing the notes. Very, very interesting to hear it. They'll sing those notes rather than sing the words. Very interesting to hear this. Any questions on that so far? Okay, somebody hand out another handout, please. On this handout that's coming to you now, it just tells you where the parts are, and Jeff showed you that this morning, but you'll have this to take home with you. Bass and the tenor staff is known as the bass clef, See how it's marked right there on the left side of the page? Number 28, or number 23, 28, I guess. Illustration number 19, you got the bass and tenor notes. Number 29, you got the soprano and alto notes marked on this. And you go to the top of the page and you got all four of them put together on the lines and spaces there. Jeff talked to you a little bit this morning about the tone length of the reference to the longness and shortness of tones, the rest length, the reference to the longness and shortness of silence. True tone lengths and rest notes are measured by counts. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. You count them like that, you can keep up with it. There are 6, and I just going to point out 5 because we won't use 6. There's 5 primary length notes, 5 primary rest notes. I need for the guys to come hand out another copy here now, okay? They're coming around handing out the rest notes going on the top of the page there. In general use, namely the whole note, the half note, the quarter note, the eighth note, and the 16th note. That's all the notes we're going to be able to use or will use in song service. You don't go to a 32nd note that has mentioned this way. As you look down a little bit further down to the illustration number 22 there, you see what the notes look like and the rest look like. The whole note is just a round circle, that so to speak. The whole rest is a hat upside down. Hat turned upside down. The half note is a note like a whole note with a stem on it. Half rest is a hat that's upside right. The quarter note is a note with a darkened point, as you see there, with a stem on it. A quarter rest, it looks like a backward Z or a Z. The eighth note is a note like the quarter note, but it's got a flag on it. And the eighth rest is a backward 7, the way we make them. I make mine the other way. I think a lot of people make them this way today. That's just like a 7. The 16th note has got the same thing as the 8th note, but it's got 2 flags on it. And the rest is a stem with 2 markings on it to the left. That's the way you find your notes. That's the way. Whole note, half note, quarter note, 8th note, 16th note. Whole rest, half rest, quarter rest, 8th rest, 16th rest. Those are things you see in songs. I'm going to get to some songs in just a minute and see if we can find some of those things in this, okay? Now, anybody got a question on those?
So the shape notes would do the same thing. They would just have the shape, but they would also have all these other markings.
Right. They'll have shape notes. There'll be shape notes like this. Have a do. We show. Well, did I not have one of those copies? I thought I had one of those copies. I don't know if I skipped over or not. It showed back on the do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. The shape notes. On which one, Conrad? Yeah. Right. We got the shape notes. That's the shape notes are the notes we sing in our church music, church songbook. the note that's filled in with a stem on it is a quarter note. And the whole note is a completely clear note that way. And then if you start putting flags on them, you start coming to the 8th note and the 16th note. Now something else we'll see in our psalm books today, go back to 562 and I'm going to look at 563 just a minute. A slur is two or more notes of different pitches sung to the same syllable or performed with the same break, or as when made in one continued breath of the voice or wind instrument. You see in 563 there, were you there when they crucified my Lord? And you, Lord, were you there? See, the people are singing, we holding that note there, and the soprano and the tenor is singing, were you there at the completion of that? We're holding, the soprano and the bass are holding those notes. And then when you get down in the next line down there, you see the tenor on the second line at the end of that, he has a drop down. You got a so, la. In other words, he's got to slur that down. Then you get over to the third line, and you see, oh, sometimes it causes me to tremble. That's a slur. You're slurring it up, or you're coming down with it tied together in that thing. That's what a slur is, okay? You see those a good bit in this. You can't, all I'm saying, I'm just trying to teach you something to help you see what music is in with this. You can't watch all this when you're leading the song service and singing with people. If they don't know that song, it's going to be hard to teach them that song and do this. But if we sing it enough and do what we need to do, we can learn to put those slurs and things in there with this in this way. All right, boys, can I have one again, please? Top of this handout, number 35, this says a tie is represented. And illustrating number 26. See how those are tied together? A slur and a tie. At 563, you see where they're tied together on the, where you're there at the very bottom down there. Those two notes are tied together. Jeff made mention this morning about rhythm. I want you to pay close attention to what's said here. Rhythm is measured motion. And Dave probably mentioned too. But you see some of our people today, they get happy, they get to this way or clapping or going on and everything. That's not rhythm. They're going completely wild. They may have the rhythm, but they're not doing what they need to do in this way. Rhythm is measured motion, the life-giving principle in music. It's right for you to have rhythm, but you don't get carried away. Without rhythm, music would be like a statue, void of activity, lifeless. We didn't have some kind of rhythm, either beating time or patting your foot. I noticed Jeff a lot of times he's patting his foot or he's bending his knee and doing the same thing. You know, you watch people from time to time. They got different ways of having that rhythm. Some people a little bit like this in the way with it. You can get carried away with it. I know a lot of people that lead song service, and you see a lot of times they're getting like this. And as was pointed out this morning, that's taking away too much from the service. You're getting to be more of a spectator right now, and you can put performing for people that time. But we need to have some rhythm. We need to let people know that we're ready to sing. We're ready to do what we need to do this way. Now, I don't know if you put it on the board this morning or not. Did you put what a measure was?
I did not.
All right.
Time signature.
All right. Time signature or measure. Go back to a minute. You still have 562 or 563 in mind? Where you can get to it handy? I-63. What's the first two notes? Where are you? I-63. That's part of a measure, isn't it? Now look at to get the whole measure. What you got in the next line there? Next block off this, you got a what? A half note, a quarter note, a quarter note. Now, we're going to see in just a minute, that's going to mean something to us. That's a measure. As you see over on the left-hand side, it's 4/4 time. That means it's going to get 4 beats at the rhythm of 4. This way. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's where you're going to come in there and admit that. Were you there when they crucified my Lord? Were you there when they crucified my Lord? And that's the way it comes in that way. That's a measure. You got to have that to set your music, to be ready to do what you need to do with this. Okay, one more handout, boys. Here, somebody. Wait a minute, let's see. Yeah, come on, you go ahead. Come here. I don't know if this is what Sheldon had a while ago or not, and handed out to you. It's got sharps and flats on it. It tells you on this exactly what I'm going to say this to you right here now, okay? If you didn't get one of those cards, get you one if you want one, okay? One sharp is what? What key? Key of C. Or one. Be sure I'm right now. Yeah, key of G. All right, right. Key of G. So 4 sharps is going to be what? 2 sharps will be D. 3 sharps A. 4 sharps E. I could not find a song in our songbook that had 5 sharps in it. I don't know if there's one there or not, but I could not find one. But if you have a song that has 5 sharps in it, it's a key of B. Now, what if you have 1 flat in that? What? F. 2 flats. B flat. 3 flats. I tell you what, let's just talk go a minute. Turn in our songbook. Number 18. Number 18. That's 1 flat, isn't it? What's going to be the pitch? We want to look at that right there. F. All right. If we blew an F, what we got? That's not what it's going to start on, is it? pipe is a little higher than this. Do, mi, bless me the tie that binds. All right, that's your one. Now look at number 12 back there. One sharp is what? G. Am I a soldier of the cross? All right, you go to number 6. Go back to number 6. What do you have there? Two sharps is what? D. All right, let's see if we can blow a D. Anywhere with Jesus I can safely go. All right, turn with me now to number 22. What do you have here? One sharp, isn't it? We've already looked at that one in that place right there, okay? Go to song number 6 in the song book. What is your pitch on song number 6? Where's your first do? D, isn't it? All right. So me know me. Anywhere with Jesus I can safely go. All right. Go to number 3. What were this folks back there? Number 3. What key is it in? Got how many sharps? 4 sharps. That's key of E. I didn't get it right. Alas, and did my Savior bleed, and did my sovereign die?
Can I ask a question, Jim?
Yes, sir.
Can I understand what's on this page? So that tells you what note to blow on your thing.
That's right.
Where you're losing me is how you get them from that note to the first note of the song.
All right.
When I learned to lead singing, that was bothered me enough that I learned how to just blow the first note since I already knew the tune. People
Right.
who don't know the tune would
Right.
fix.
Well, a lot of times today, I think there's some like some of these automated things, Jeff, that comes on that you get on your phone thing that
It basically does the same thing as a pitch button, but you don't have to blow. You just push it and it'll give you.
that's right. It just that's really nice today. I didn't have that back when I started.
All right, so like on this one here, when you, the 4 sharps, so we know that you blow an E.
Right.
Now tell me what to do with that tone to get to the beginning tone. In this case, it is the same. Start with do. We
got a high do. Do, so, mi, do, mi.
That particular song, so.
And that's
So you have to be able to know the show me, so.
that's the leader's pitch right there. Do, mi, so, mi, do. That helps the leader get where he wants to start. If it's not a do, if he can't blow a pitch as do on that, then he has to blow what the pitch is calling for, and then go down to whatever that pitch, whatever it's going to start on at that time.
So, I mean, you technically could, and this is how I lead. You can pick the first note, you could blow that on the pitch five. Again, I usually break it down in 2 steps, and you could lead it.
Yeah.
All you'd be doing is giving the soprano. If you're going to give everybody else's part too, like give them the note that they start on, that's when it's handy to do all this stuff.
Right.
So
And
number 2, page 2. What is the soprano note that you start on? Isn't that an A because it's F A C E to A? So is that what you blow? No. I mean, you could.
well, if you had, if you blow, all right. Let me see. What it's going to. That's A. That's a G. Anywhere with Jesus I can safely go.
You were doing number 2, so you blew an A, right?
Yeah.
So it'd be, so when you do that, you really can't give the congregation the other notes they start. Right, unless you can do this do, mi, so.
Now, a good person that does this in this way is Paul Clements. He knows music, and his son knows music because he teaches the college Faulkner course. But Paul, in about every one of his songs that he starts, he blows it and he goes that way. Do, mi, so, do, so, mi, do, so that people can hear. If you listen to him when he leads a song, he's going to give all the pitches to all the people, the soprano, the alto, tenor, and the bass as well.
Now, I'm convinced that most people probably don't even realize that is what's going on.
No, that's right.
Just giving their note.
No.
Because everybody's totally forgotten about this.
My main thing is I'm saying this to y'all, but the main thing you want to do is be sure that you lead the congregation and they sing with you. As Jeff said this morning, be sure you pitch it right. Try to pitch it right. Pitch too high, you can't sing it. Pitch too low, you can't sing. So try to get your pitch right. But then if you let people know, well, I'm going to start now, will you sing with me? You got to either a downbeat or an upbeat. Or you say, you're not going to beat time, say, let's sing together. You let them know you're ready to sing. They'll start with you in this way. All right, that pretty well gets through this now. Let's see, I want to look at song number 7 in just a minute. All right, song number 7, what do you have? It's a C in it. All right, now Jeff showed you this morning, that's a C on the treble clef up there, but you got to see a middle C also. It's down between those, the bass clef and the treble clef. You can hit a middle C there, but you got middle C otherwise too. Where would you get your pitch on this one now? Where's your first do? Your first do is going to be on A, isn't it? Or C, F-A-C, over toward the end of the line, second line. That's the first do I see. Do, so, mi, so. Years I spent in vanity and pride. All right, guys. I think I got one more. No, I got 2 more. I'm going to let you hand this out at the same time. I need 2 of you this time. 2 of you. them this time, okay? You hand that one, you hand that one, okay? These two handouts need to go together. You have 2 2-time, 3 2-time, 4 2-time, 2 4-time, 3 4-time, 4 4-time, 6 4-time, 9 4-time, 6 8-time, 9 8-time, and 12 8-time. Now, now, let's go back just a minute. 2 beats per measure in the 2-2 as the half note gets the beat. You've got the handout over here on the other side showing you how to beat this. 2 2-time is down, up, down, up, down, up. You want to slay it out of the side just a bit, that's okay too. All right, 3 2-time. Look down at the next illustration down there, simple time. 1 2 3, 1 2 3. About the same way. 4 2-time is in the, you're down at the very bottom of that first handout. Each quarter note is going to get a beat, but you got to beat it fast. 4 2-time, 4 beats per measure. Half note gets 1 beat. Use the quadruple pattern for directing. Where you're going to be a little faster. A little bit faster. 3 4-time, 3 beats per measure. Quarter note gets the best beat. It's the first beat. Be an up beat, down beat. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. Just come down over to the right and then up. Back up to the start. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. 4 4-time. You beat it two ways if you want to beat 4 4-time. 1 2 3 4. 1 2 3 4. Or 1 2 3 4. Down and up. Either way you want to go it. Or you can beat it down, left, right, and up. 4 4-time. 6 4-time is beat. A quarter note gets the beat. It's beat. Go back up to the second part of the diagram there. Compound time rhythm signatures. Down, left, up. Down, left, right, up. Down, right, up. Just like you beat 3 4-time. 9 4. Quarter note gets the beat. Use triple pattern for directing. And that would be the second illustration there. Down, left, up. Down, left, up. Just a little bit faster. And you got 9 6 8. This gets to be a fast time if you want to beat it this way. I don't like to beat it like that. You got 1 2 3 4 5 6. 1 2 3 4 5 6. You got to count them in your mind. That makes me forget my words, that I'm not applying what I know of the words on things. You beat 6 times, you got to keep the rhythm to get all those in. I'd rather just beat straight down and up to keep my rhythm. And I haven't got to be thinking about if I'm getting my beats right. And the 9 4-time is the same way. 9 4 is the down, right, up, down, right, up. 6 beat, and then 9 8, 12 8. I won't even try to beat 12 8. It's just if you beat 12 times, you gotta really be going. Yeah, you're going so fast you can't even keep up with it. Now you you might beat it out yourself, or you can pass it with your foot, or keep it in your mind what you're doing. But it's just hard to do to get things to do this way. All right, now Jeff mentioned, I think it was Jeff this morning. Yeah, number 74. Look at number 74. What comes to your mind when you see that? What did he mention to you this morning?
Can I ask another question?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What is the practical effect? Why would they have to beat 12 times? Does that mean the song is slower?
Me, I'd say it'd be, you're going to beat 12 times in that Jeff, Dave, I mean, in this way. You look at that beat 12 times, you got to beat fast to get that in there. That's what I'd do, is break it into threes.
What I'm asking is, why did the songwriter
I don't know.
come up with a 12/4 time? What is the practical impact?
I don't know what they were intending to do on that way. I'm going to try to find.
Tempo, you can have 6/8, for example, really fast, or you
Yeah.
can have it really slow. So tempo is not really the key. There's a lot of things that go into why they would do that.
Number 74. Jeff mentioned that this morning. That's 4/4 time. What did he say about this one now? Tempo. Holy, holy, holy. Where you don't want to drag it out. You don't want to sing it so fast you don't get the expression you got there. Be sure that you're saying it, not dragging it, but you're singing it fast enough. You still have the expression you want to get there. Holy, holy, holy. All right, look at number 87. That's 3/2 time. The half notes we get to beat, you got three beats to the measure. I'm not ashamed to own my Lord, nor to defend his cause.
By the way, 88 is a good example of a 6/8 where
Right.
you might actually lead with your hand every eighth note, but it'd be pretty fast.
Yeah, yeah, it would.
Usually
And-
break it into three. Have
Right, down and up, just like that. Yeah, that's a good one.
I'll lead all of them on songs where it's important to keep up with the words. There's some of them that I'll do a double 3-pat.
Right.
Read twice in a measure.
And in the song leader, if you get started and you're beating the thing and you cannot keep up with your beat and that thing, stop beating your time and pick up on the next time you got an up note or down note. Get your beats back together. Or you're directing it back together. All right, there's,
Such a thing as moving your hands so fast that you're making it hard for people to pay attention.
that's right.
That's
right.
We got to keep bringing ourselves back to our goal is just hold everybody together where they can focus on God.
You don't want them looking at you as up there carrying on and being a spectator, so to speak. But you want to lead. You're leading the congregation. You're leading the congregation. There's a number of songs on down through there. Somebody said the 12/8 a while ago. Brother Dave, did you mention it? Look at number 58. I think that's a song listed in 12/8. Number 58. That's right. That's 12/8 time. count off me 12 times now in that measure, right, that first measure. God is calling the prodigal. Got a quarter note and a dot, a quarter note and a dot, eighth note, eighth note, eighth note, eighth note, eighth note, eighth note. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You got 12 beats in that measure right there. And it is hard, as Jeff said a minute ago, you're going to be beating so fast, you're just about being a performer up there in front of the crowd this way. Beating 12, 8 times that way.
So a dotted quarter note gives you 3/8 notes.
That's right.
And they're breaking it down and basically telling you don't lead all 12/8 with your hand.
Right.
Break it into threes. So a dotted quarter, that's one beat. Next dotted quarter is another.
That's right.
So God is, and then you
got 3 more.
all linked up.
Right.
They're
Right.
you know, when you look at that circle, it really is just the 3 beat. With just extra little things that you do. One measure would be 3 beats, right? Well, a 12/8 would be 4 beats. A 9/8 would be 3 beats. 9/8, 3/4 would be both be 3 beats. 12/8, 4/4 are usually going to be 4 beats.
And there's a number of other songs you can get in this, and you go down through this. You got 6/8, 2/4, 9/8, 6/4. It means the half note or the quarter note or the eighth note is going to get the beat, or as you go through and look at that. Now, I want you to turn with me to number 448 just a minute. I'm going to bring mine to a close in just a second. 448. I think we're pretty good at singing this song. There's something different. You see 448 down in the chorus down there. It's got an alto lead, but the soprano is doing what? Let me live close to thee, guide me all along the way. You're not holding those notes. You're using those notes and you're cutting them off. You're not holding. You wouldn't say, let me live close to thee, guide me all along the way. You cut them off in this way. You hear, most people sing it that way. You hear it that, let me live close to thee, guide me all along the way. They're not holding those notes. They're cutting them off. Go to 139 now just a minute, okay? 139. This is Sheldon's favorite song. Right, Sheldon? Yes, sir. There's a number of things that you see in this one right here. It's 6/8 time, and everything's all right down till you get to the chorus. When you get to the chorus, what do you see? You see a P for soft, you see a PP for even softer. You get on down a little bit in the third line of the chorus, and see crescendo. You start and make it louder and louder and louder, and that's the way we most sing it. And then you got an FF at the very end of that. Earth and skies come out real loud there, and then you come down again at the very end. Peace be still, a P, then peace, peace, be still, double P. And if it's sung like that, it's very effective. Very effective. Let me turn to one other now. 350. 350. This is the way we learn this song most of the time. We sing it this way. You got some 16th notes in there. And You're not singing them as 16th notes, we're singing them as 8th notes or quarter notes. Tempted and tried, we're oft made to wonder why it should be thus all the day long. And you see you got the 16th notes there, that one. Then down in the chorus you got the 16th note. Father alone will know all about it. Father alone will understand why. And we're holding those notes. Most all of us are holding those notes when we're singing. We're not singing the 16th notes. But it makes it a lot better if you can do that. But now, I don't want to encourage us to not sing the song and get the meaning out of this just to keep the notes and sing it right. You can still get the meaning of the song if you don't sing it right. I mean, that's just a little thing I've noticed over the years of what's happening this way. As far as I know, there's no 12-4, 12 beats and a quarter notes in our book. I did not find one. Where you beat a quarter note and beat it 12 times. I did not find one in our book. So there might be one there, but I did not find it anywhere at all. I hope this has helped you a little bit to have a better appreciation for music, especially if you're going to be a song leader. And be glad to work with you anytime that I can help you. Jeff can do it as well, to work with us like this and help us to understand music better. And I think it would even be good for us to have some sessions with our congregation, especially to learn to sing some songs we've already singing and learn some new songs as well. So sometime we need to just work on that and try to see what we can do to help one another out. Okay, that's my part, fellas. Thank y'all.
If you don't, raise your hand if you don't really read music. You haven't had really formal training in that, Tommy. Okay, so one important thing here is to not be intimidated. That's the kind of information that is taught. If you were taking a course in music, that's really weeks of information that's just kind of packed in there. So don't be intimidated by that. That's the kind of stuff that ideally we'd be able to stretch that out and really teach that kind of stuff over a long period of time. For those of you that are really leading singing, the most basic thing you need to know about with regard to pitch is you could, again, the easiest way to do it is if you know you look for the soprano line and you see the note that is, if you can figure out what note it is on the soprano line, then you add up on your pitch pipe, you could blow that note and you would have it. Now, chances are it's going to be a little high if you do that, but you could do that as long as you know the melody. You could start at that note and you'd know the next part and you'd be able to go with it. Ideally, what Jesse's talking about, a congregation could use this method, because then what ends up happening is if all you do is blow the soprano, which is what most of us do, and I think there's a sense in which that's what most congregations are going to be able to do in this day and age. If all you do is lead the soprano part and you don't give anybody else their notes, then they're going to need a few notes to figure out how their part relates to yours. Because the basses, for example, rarely start on the exact same note as the sopranos. The tenors are a little bit different. So they have to wait a second to harmonize with whatever note you begin on. But that said, most of our congregations don't really know anything about music, and so if you gave them the other notes, it's still probably not going to help them. We really just need more training. But what you need, first of all, is you just got to be able to find the right pitch so that the whole thing doesn't fall apart. That's first and foremost. The big thing is you need to pick a pitch that at least everybody can stay together, even if they need a few notes to jump in there. Brad, were you going to say something?
I was going to say, in an awful lot of the songs that we have, actually the do note is where the basses start.
Sometimes, yeah, basically just an octave lower.
Most of the songs, when you go
But it's
The triangle note.
it's definitely not going to help your altos and tenors. It's going to hurt them. By the way, when I was in London, this is like cutting in and out or something. I don't know if you're.
I think that might be.
Is it still on? Okay. I thought it was interesting when I was in London, and this took me a while to figure out that they were doing this, because I was sitting on the front row and I didn't know what was going on behind me. The song leader would get up there, and by himself, he would sing the first line, so that everybody could figure out what their pitch is and how it related, and then he would start over, and the whole congregation would join in. And it took me a while to figure out that's what was going on. I'd start singing with him, and then he'd stop and go back to the beginning, and they would do that every time. And the reason was this concept, is the idea that everybody ideally is going to start at the same time and know exactly what their pitch is and can worship from the first word and not be kind of out of it for a few notes until they jump in. But I would argue there's just no way around that very easily unless the congregation knows the song better and understands music more, and all we can do is just kind of work on that over time. First and foremost, though, we as song leaders need to have our own pitch. You got to pitch everybody right so that we're not too high or too low. One other thing about, I meant to say something about this. One of our big problems, and we talked about this in the meeting back there, is our tendency to rush or drag. Everybody clear what we mean by that? To speed up or slow down. And this is, if you do any kind of formal music training, especially if you're in an ensemble, whether it be chorus or instrument type ensemble, this is like the bane of any group. Everybody is going to tend to speed up as they go, and you won't even know it while you're doing it, or you slow down. And so percussion, which is what I trained in, our job was to make sure that didn't happen. And so we had to learn ways to keep the beat without, because the whole point of percussion was to hold the rest of the band to the proper tempo, whatever it might be. And so ultimately that's what you're having to be with your hand or your voice. You're going to have to be that beat for everybody else. And I'll tell you, the way that I learned how to keep a beat without rushing or dragging, I mean, if you really want to get this down, I literally turned a metronome on and went to sleep with it on in my ear so that it became subconscious. The beat, if I speed up or I slow down, it will drive me nuts because it's so beat into me. The only thing you can do is to learn how to keep a beat is to listen to what it's supposed to be, the proper beat, without it slowing down and speeding up, and get used to that. And you get eventually where you feel it. If we're slowing down, you're going to feel it. And what you find now, there's a lot of our songs that we sing that we all slow down and we're comfortable with it because it's always been done that way. But if you actually don't slow down, it's a totally different feel, and you start feeling like it's somebody's speeding up, but really all you're doing is keeping the same beat. So if you don't know what a metronome is, if you want to work on your beat, you feel like maybe you might have a problem with, maybe you know that it's slowing down. Maybe that's sometimes what the issue is. You feel the congregation slowing down, to which I'd recommend, again, just get in closer to the mic, raise your voice up. If you need to, even for a moment, if you don't usually do a beat, even for a moment, if all you do is go up and down to get everybody back on the beat, do it. Your point is to lead this, not be led by it. If you have trouble slowing down and don't even notice it, then again, I'd recommend a metronome, which is basically just a device that you can set it for how many beats a minute, and it'll just beat it for you. Doop, 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 doop. And you just kind of at home when you're getting ready to lead a song, turn on your metronome to whatever tempo you want, and have it just beat that beat. And then you practice with your hands, singing through it, staying with the metronome. You do that, then you're going to feel that beat. You're going to know the places in a song where it tends to change tempo. And you'll find out real quick, oh man, we must usually drag that because, man, that's what I'm doing is way off from the metronome. And you can start learning that and learning how to keep a beat better. And I tell you, if we could keep the beat better as song leaders, our singing would be 2 times as good in the brotherhood, in my opinion.
There's also apps for metronome.
Yeah, that's true. There are free apps on metronomes too. In fact, I think some of these that have a pitch to them would probably have a metronome as well. It'll give you a beat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our singing here at Panama Street is usually pretty good, and the acoustics in this building are better than a lot of places. You get that, and you have good singing.
Yeah. that's kind of a big thing I want in the new building is good. I want to be sure we have good acoustics. That's important to me. Tommy, did you have your hand up back there? No? Okay. All right, any specific questions that anybody has about song leading or music or any of the kind of leading from today?
Repeat what you said this morning. The song we sing sometime before the Lord's Supper, the song we sing before prayer, we need to be more in tune on what we're doing, getting ready to do, and try to have our song service catered to that time.
Okay, so what Jesse was just saying is be sure as a song leader, whenever we're preparing with the songs we're doing to prepare the minds of the congregation for whatever we're fixing to do, like the Lord's Supper and again, like the closing song, be thinking in terms when you're picking out your songs and even the verses of the songs you do, be attentive to kind of helping guide the congregation's minds in what we're doing as in worship.
Would it be worth having additional sessions where you focus entirely on song? I know you have the 5 o'clock training class where you have ability to talk about the specific things that we see in song leaders, things that are good, things that aren't, maybe help to give more specifics.
Yeah.
What I wish we would do is, those who want specialized training, get together and decide when they can be together. And the best way to learn then, ultimately, is not to sit here and listen. It's to get up there and do it. The way, when I learned it, we'd have 5 guys lined up side by side facing the others that weren't doing it at the moment. And the person teaching you would stand out in front of you with his back to you. And you could follow his arm and learn to do it at the tempo, all of that stuff. To learn to lead sing, you gotta be able to do it.
I agree with what Dave said, and we need practice.
But the other part of it is if you practice, but you need to practice properly.
Right.
So that's why I think it's important because, we talk about, practicing at home, this, that, and everything. Well, see, the problem with that is if you're doing something wrong, you're not going to realize that because you're doing it to yourself. Even if you record yourself, you may not know that you're doing something wrong.
Yeah, you'll catch some things, but you won't catch just some basic type, like what you're. Well, anyway, we can discuss that idea of doing some kind of a other, I think, Saturday type things where maybe that's all we focus on is more direct training in that. I think some of what we were really needing to fix were some of these things we talked about today that are very much more imminent, like some things that are, I think, affecting our worship from week to week in very practical ways that, maybe show a lack of reverence in some cases and disorderliness. And so I hope that we've accomplished that well today. And I did like the idea that we, of maybe taking our 5 o'clock Sunday night class and maybe, I think it'd be neat to kind of alternate and have the kids as the focus one week. And then maybe the next week, make sure the congregation knows, hey, we're working on new songs every second and fourth Sunday or something like that. And we might have better turnout. It's worth talking about it, Conrad, whether you want to go that route or not on it. But I think as it is now, we're not really being able to get a lot of people here whenever new songs are being learned at 5 o'clock. Because I think a lot of people are thinking this is just about training our kids. They don't have kids, so why would they come? And et cetera, et cetera. So if we want to actually be teaching new songs, then we almost need to just
We mentioned that in the past, and it made a difference.
to do it this way that I'm talking about.
That we're going to be trying to learn new songs. We appreciate attendance, so we can learn those songs.
Yeah, I think though
Has
that.
made a direct impact on attendance.
Yeah, probably, I would assume it's because we don't necessarily learn new songs every time, and I think it may end up being too much for people to come every time at 5 or something. Maybe that's what they're thinking. That's why I was kind of suggesting maybe you alternate or something, but anyway, it's worth some thought. We don't need to decide this now, huh?
Maybe they would respond if it was just a couple times a month.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, maybe something more like an alternating kind of thing. Try that. But, you know, the important thing is, you know, I know if we want to do new songs, that's great, but we can't do new songs if the congregation doesn't know it, or we're kind of defeating what we're supposed to be doing as leaders. So whatever we can do to motivate people to get there to learn new songs, to get there to learn new songs would be great. Jeremy, you were...
My dad was preaching today, before Dad started preaching for the congregation, they already had those.
Yeah, and a lot of times the singing night idea ends up, the confusing thing about that is, it's one thing if we say this is going, like this Sunday night, our 6 o'clock service is not going to be worship, it's going to be song training, and we have a singing night. But if we're going to make it a song worship, then we're still in the same boat. We can't be learning new songs as our song worship, and we can't even be having little kids coming up here and training, which is distracting in the same way. So it really has to be, we'd have to communicate, hey, let's devote one Sunday night a month, or the 5th Sunday night to, rather than worship, we do this, if that's what we're going to do. But I don't know if we want to just not have worship and only do training one night. I think we probably would rather squeeze it in where we have it. And 5 o'clock is perfect. It's set aside for that if we were, I think, did something more like an alternating kind of thing or something.
Just a suggestion. When we get back to doing second Sunday, we could, after eating, come back in the auditorium at 1 o'clock.
You know, that's not a bad idea. Just kind of train at that point or something.
Even though after eating, the worst time to sing.
It is. It is. It's exhausting, and it's nap time.
Calories, sir, come on now.
Only for the guy waving his arms.
All right.
Just a thought.
Church Eat Church would be my favorite every week, but we don't need to open up that can of worms right now. All right, let's go ahead and go ahead and end with a prayer. Dad, is it okay if I throw this on you right here this fast? I'm not giving you much time to think about it.
Great Father, we're deeply grateful that you have communicated with us, expressed your word to us, and we pray that we might be receptive to that word and pour over your teaching and make certain that we understand it correctly and apply it properly to our lives. We're so grateful to you for Panama Street, and particularly for all these men. Thank you for the great attitudes that this group of people display. We thank you for the willingness to want to prepare ourselves to be the kind of worship leaders you'd have us to be, and to please you and to not offend you or insult you in any way. Please strengthen us in our efforts to improve ourselves in all facets of our lives, that we can stand before you justified and acceptable. Please bless us as we strive to be the faithful members of this congregation that we need to be, to set a good example before all ages of the congregation. Please forgive us of our sins and strengthen us. We pray in Jesus' name.